Throttle warning.
What's up, y'all? You checking out the Frequent Flyers Chop Shop. It's been a while since we've been here at the Chop Shop, but we're back. We had some difficulties, technical difficulties, but we're back in effect now, and we have this guy here. So this is the Sky Viper Hover Racer, and this thing is pretty awesome. It flies pretty nice. It didn't come with these props. It already been here at the Chop Shop, but just for a little prop swap, the motors are running on a geared system, so it should be able to handle weight a little better as far as spinning larger props. That's what they're made for, but these props were just too large. I think the motors couldn't spin the props up fast enough. This is what the props look like. They look pretty nice, so maybe they were just going for looks. This thing looked awesome with these props on it. They also had prop protectors on it. They were large circles or whatnot, all extra weight that hindered the performance of this quad. This is the transmitter here. So I got these props here from another Sky Viper model. I'll have the name of that model up here right now, just so you guys know where these props came from. And these props make this thing fly really nice. And this thing has very deep pitch. It has a fast yaw rate. It does almost as deep funnels as the X6058, the original one. So that says a lot. This thing flies really nice, but it still has a little bit of wobble to it. It still has some extra weight, and that's this little contraption down here. This little thing down here allows you to fight and have sort of like laser tag experience with this. A multiplayer game, and it has beacons and all that you set up, and it records when you go by and your times and all of that stuff, so you can race and have real laps and stuff like that with it. Pretty cool, but I'm not into all of that stuff, racing with it, unless I had an FPV camera on it. Now that's a thing, that's a thought there. If you add an FPV camera on this thing and you set up all the beacons and you have a couple of guys, you can have like a race with it, and it'll record the times and stuff with your smartphone, and that's pretty awesome. But right now, I'm not really interested in that. Right now, we're thinking about reducing the weight on this thing. So I'm thinking about removing this. There's really no way to remove this though, except to cut it. And so I think that's exactly what we're going to do in this episode. We're going to shave the weight. Let's get started. I know you guys are wondering, how the heck are you going to cut that bottom off of there? How are you going to shave the weight? Well, we're literally going to shave the weight. Got the Blue Alien on deck. Got my Wagner heat gun here. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat up the Blue Alien with the heat gun. And it should be a clean slice. We're just going to slice right through here. Shave the weight off. And then we're going to use a rubber band to hold the batteries. And the battery plans are potentially awesome that I have for this thing. Bonka batteries. I got these from Picnic Quads. I think there's a deal for 5 of them. But you can just buy one, I think. But there's a deal with 5 of them. I think you can't get more than one outside of the US. Only in the US they have that deal, I think. But these are high voltage batteries, 500 milliamp hours from Bonka at Picnic Quads. I'll have a link in the description. If they still have them there, you'll be able to get them. And so these fit right in there perfectly right now. And they work really well with it. So if you got any of you guys out there that have this and you get those batteries, it's going to give it a little more punch. It makes it wobble less. But right now, let's get into this. Just simple as can be. We're just going to heat up the Blue Alien and make a clean cut. Hopefully it turns out right. Not all the time. We do our experiments here at the Chop Shop. turn out right, but most times they do. So we got through that part. I think I actually cut through some wires or something too. But me no care. Man, we're cutting through a bunch of wires and all by doing this. But I guess it's worth it if we're going to get a better vehicle here. So we cut the weight effectively. Looks like we still have this thing in the front there. I might just clip that off too. Okay, so I sliced that little part off too as well. We just got some wires hanging here. We can probably clean this up a little bit. Just snip the wires off and all, or I might open it up and yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to open it up and we're going to just desolder these wires here. And hopefully this thing still plugs up. Let's see if it still plugs up. Or if it still powers. If we didn't kill it, it should. And we got lights. Let's test and see if it would still fly. Yes, it's still going to fly. Okay, so we're out here with this thing. Looking a lot more streamlined now like this. We got the bonker battery strapped on the bottom using these rubber bands here. And we got the stock transmitter because this thing isn't deviated yet. I wish they would deviate it. But to be honest with you guys, that's the reason why I'm not going to keep mine the way it is. I'm actually planning to put a F3 Evo, a F3 SP Racing Evo board in here. So I can have acro and stuff like that on this and fly it with a hobby transmitter. Mainly, that's the reason why I decided to do it, because it hasn't been deviated yet. But let's test this thing out. So there is going to be a part 2 of this where I'm going to drop the board in here from the SP Racing F3 Evo. But for now, let's check this thing out. I wouldn't advise trying to use the altitude hold feature because the sensors on the bottom are gone, so it might not work anymore. I'm not expecting it to. It might fly away on you, so don't do it. You have to press the flip button or the trigger button while you're holding in the altitude hold button or auto start button, and it allows you to fly it normally. So check out these awesome funnels this thing is doing. Feeling awesome so far. Yep, you can definitely feel how light it is. It's a lot more lighter. Little guy's awesome. Now some of this wobble I think comes from the transmitter. Oops, funneled a little too much. And he got grabbed by the tree. So let's see, we got to take off again now. Oh, another tree. I just dropped the throttle so it can fall out of the tree there. Let's go out in some open space. This vegetation really got out of hand here. I think one of those leaves might be caught in the gears. Let me see. Gears are okay. I don't know what was going on just now. I think the wind was blowing it. But one of the gears seemed to be acting funny since I crashed it over there. Let's see, is it bent? Maybe it bent when I was pulling it out of the tree. Check it out. They're wobbling a lot more than they were. Let me try to straighten them out. Okay, they're cool now. Still seems to be something weird about it now. It's acting normal now. Let me look at this again, make sure there's nothing in it. Check all the gears. Spinning freely. Okay, one in the rear wobbles a lot though. Maybe I bent it. We'll see. Yeah, I think I bent the rear prop. Let me straighten it. Guess I yanked it out of there too hard. It's flying really wonky now, man. I don't know what the heck happened when it went in that tree there that second time, but that rear motor seems to be clicking though, making a funny sound, and it's making it fly irregular. But then when I fly calm, it's okay, but when I kick up the throttle, it vibrates a lot. And it's hard to turn. Maybe a motor's dying? Let me see. That might be it. This motor over here on the rear right seems a little weaker than the others. So I think that might be it. I think that sealed the fate of one of my motors, I guess. Because that motor's really weak now. Check it out, the funnel's even wobble now. Still does awesome funnels though. But it's a bit unstable because of that motor there. So pretty unfortunate, but that opens the door for another mod that I was thinking about doing. I was actually thinking about when I dropped that F3 SP Racing Evo board in here, I'm gonna solder those two pads to jump it to 2S, and I was gonna use 2S motors and have this thing flying on 2S. But this was an awesome mod before I crashed into the trees and it messed up my motor. This thing was flying awesome. Now it won't even fly straight. I can't even fly it straight. It turns. But it sounds like I can hear it. It sounds like something physical. not just the motor. I can hear something irregular with the way it's flying. This thing is pretty quiet anyhow, and so when I kick up the throttle, it's making a funny clicking sound every so often. And it's alarming. This alarm on this transmitter is super low. Super low. I'm thinking maybe it's because there's no opening for the sound of the buzzer to get out. So I guess you can probably find where that buzzer is exactly in this transmitter and just put a hole there maybe, and maybe this thing will be louder. Okay, so I'm back out here with it, and I think it was that this prop here, well, not just the prop, but the whole shaft was bent a little from me pulling it out of the tree like that. So I'm out here to test it, see if it flies better now. Okay, let's fire it up. Whoa! Yes, it seems like it's fixed now. So that was the problem. It's bent a little. The shaft was just bent. So now this thing flies straight again. Almost hit the vegetation again. Gotta be careful of that. Now that still doesn't change the fate of this thing. I'm still gonna add a F3 ST Racing Evo flight controller to this thing, and I'm still gonna add 2S motors to it. As you can see, this thing flies awesome. Pretty windy out here now, but this thing can handle some wind because of the high pitch that it has on it, the high pitch angle. The wind really picked up, so I'm pitching all the way to the side to try to slow this thing down. Going against the wind that way. This is with the wind. This is against the wind. See if we can do a manual flip. Yep, we still can do manual flips in the wind. Manual flip didn't work there though. So awesome little mod to this thing here. Let's look at it and see if I can hold it still in this darn wind here. You guys see it. Try to see it up close on some funnels. Let's bring it back. It's funneling away. Yeah, this thing would be awesome, totally awesome with a hobby grade transmitter. Nice and quiet. awesome buy. And at one point, one of my viewers pointed out to me that this thing was on Amazon for 25 bucks. But as soon as I started to prepare to do a video, it must have been a mistake because they fixed it really fast. And so it went back up to about 56 bucks. So there was no point in doing the video any longer. But yeah, this at one point you were able to get this thing off Amazon, free shipping for 25 bucks. And that was a steal. The wind has slowed down a little now, so I'm able to show this thing's full potential now. The dark forest trees still out here. Doing my best to avoid those. Well, I don't want this video to be long and drawn out. We already had some flight footage earlier, so we're just going to try to land this thing on here. Whoops. And the wind blew me right into it. And there's no way we're going to be able to land on that, I don't think, anyhow. But we're going to go for it anyway. And we're running out of time because the alarm is going off. And it's landing. That's full throttle. I couldn't bring it up any farther. So that's it. The ChopShop of the Sky Viper Hover Racer. Thanks for watching.